went to the barber, and like I told her, I said, just clean up my lines, right? I had a natural line like halfway up my cheek. It was a good beard. But this girl had a particular vision, I guess, and I didn't have my glasses on. So when I get my hair cut, it's total trust. Like, I'm like, I'm going to tell you what to do, and if you screw up within there, I'm not going to know until we're done here. So I can't do anything. And so she did my hair. She did okay on the hair. And then she started doing the beard, and I felt it. And I was like, you're going a little low, but also you can't really tell with, like, the feel on it. You're like, I don't know if she left more than I thought she did. And I look at it, and I have a chin strap.
Yeah.
So now I'm sitting here with the awkward, random, like, really short face hair.
Yeah.
And I looked at it, and it wasn't bad. She did a good job. But it wasn't what I wanted.
It's like, it's good and thick down at the bottom.
Yeah, all in the chin, dude.
But you look like you're wearing a scarf just on your face.
That's why I was mad. That's why I was mad. I was like, I would look so good without this stupid beard.
Right. That's why I don't go to barbers anymore.
You see, I feel that so hard because when I get my beard shaved,
Yeah. You gotta get the mustache out.
Yeah. So welcome to Legion's Blind Podcast, episode number 1.
So are we gonna have like a format to this, or are we just gonna sit here and cut half of our stuff that we say because it's mildly inappropriate?
We can do both. I mean, if you guys want to go on like certain base questions, like do a lot of people know about like how the band started, or like the foundation of it all?
I don't think they do really, because it kind of came out of nowhere.
Is it an interesting story?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
Not really.
All right. Some people may not know. You and Raina have been in a band together for 78 years.
Yes.
37 of which
We both have Benjamin Button's
she is
disease.
right. 37 of which she's been counting off time completely and
3 or 4.
inappropriately.
I swear to God.
She accidentally turned us into a mathcore band earlier.
Okay,
That's
time out.
really-
Time out. Quick interjection. I think
Sure.
mathcore came from a guitarist who didn't like his drummer and just wrote something dumb, and then the drummer caught
Right.
on. And he's like, "Damn it, that sounds good."
Fuck this! I'm joining Norma Jean. So, how do you? Why don't you tell us how? I know you did say that it was kind of boring, but why don't you tell us how Legion's Blind came to be and how it relates to like how many other bands have you been in?
I've only been in one other band.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Yes.
And I know, Raina, you've been in how many bands?
I've been in a few. So I was in a family band for a while. That was like it lasted for like a year, and then we disbanded.
Okay.
And then I was subbing in for a blues band for a while, and then I was in this punk band, and it was a train wreck. And I've been in a few bands.
They usually
Lots
are.
to count, yeah.
Yeah.
Punk bands are usually a train wreck in one way or another.
Yeah, I think I've been in 2 punk bands in my entire
That's what makes it a
career,
punk
but yeah.
band, right? It's a
Yeah.
train wreck.
It's
Yeah.
there's got to be some aspect of a punk band that's a fucking train wreck. I've been in a
Absolutely.
lot of them, and
It was a whole
like
train wreck.
we excelled at being a train wreck in a lot of different ways.
Hey, if you're gonna do it, be good at it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And
I was in the family band, and then
Okay.
this one.
okay, so 2 bands. Okay, so why don't you tell us how Legion's Blind came to be?
So what happened was I was with Eviction since I was 12. So that's why I've only been in one other band. That band stayed together, and whenever our guitarist went into the Navy, he moved over to San Diego, and I didn't feel right. He was the other like founding member of that, so I was like, I can't keep using like the Eviction name, the Eviction music. We wrote all that together. And Raina started drumming for us about 4 years into that project. And then once he moved, we kind of weren't doing anything. I wanted to get back into music. I started kind of dabbling with people, like other producers and stuff, just going over, laying down guitar tracks. And then George actually hit me up, and he wanted me to play guitar for some like his solo tracks. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And then he started playing guitar for us. And then once he moved, we kind of weren't doing anything. I wanted to get back into music. I started kind of dabbling with people, like other producers and stuff, just going over, laying down guitar tracks. And then George actually hit me up, and he wanted me to play guitar for some like his solo tracks. I told him sure, because that's what I was doing at the time. And then he texted back and he's like, well, what's the rest of the band doing? And I was like,
Right.
yeah. So Raina and our old bassist, Aaron, at the time, I texted both of them and they weren't doing anything. So we came together, we jammed out on that. We fought about a name for about a month and a half and finally landed on Legion's Blind. And we pumped out a lot of music in that period of time. And then George left, and we picked you up, which I think is funny because y'all both came from Stay in the Angel,
Yeah.
hot off of that.
Yeah.
So, it in my opinion, it kind of turned like for local bands almost super group a little bit, like the mix between Eviction and Stay in the Angel. Because back when Eviction was playing, we got big shows with them. Mind you, we were 14, 15, 16, so I think that was most of our appeal. But now that I've grown up, we can actually make good music.
Right, yeah.
Well, not that Eviction was bad. It was just
No, not at all. But it was
very 80s.
Yeah, it was.
Very
I remember the first time I saw you guys play. Actually, me and Darren were sitting aside talking, and we kind of laughed at how 80s it was a little bit. And I was
Yeah.
like, man, they're fucking selling it though. I mean, Jesus Christ, they
Oh,
fucking
I
love
wore
this
the
shit.
American flag cowboy hat
Oh,
and
yeah.
all that stuff.
It was. I was like watching Ted Nugent like in 2017 somehow.
Well, I stole the hat from Bret Michaels
Okay.
from Poison. So, yeah.
But I respected it because it was like the talent was definitely there.
Oh,
but
for
it
sure.
seemed like at times really, really unfocused. Like it was like just an explosion of like, fuck, we love all this great 80s music and we're gonna try and duplicate it as much as possible.
It was a lot of that, and like I was showing her earlier the music that we had from there. I was showing her the riff from a Jackal song that I basically ripped off. I just
Right.
changed a few notes in the rhythm a little bit because I liked the way that chicken picking style
Yeah.
kind of came in. It's almost that Let There Be Rock, that chicken picking intro,
Yeah.
like that kind of thing. So I was like, yeah, let's go 80s AC/DC, and then
Yeah.
we would turn around and go, oh, let's make a Metallica song today.
Right.
Oh, let's make a Pantera song today. Let's make a new school, like just completely rhythmic song today. So, I mean, even us, we're a little all over the map. Like we're starting to hone in a little more on a sound.
Yeah.
But like when we first started, take Over It and put it next to Freak Show, and it, other than my vocals, it doesn't sound like the same band.
Right.
So I think it's a long learning curve of
Yeah.
like actually finding what you want to do,
Yeah.
because it's really like you want to take all of your influences and express them in some way, and then it comes out more this way or that way. And whenever
Yeah.
your music taste is so broad, like I listen to a lot of like random stuff. My playlist goes from Eminem to Run the Jewels to Gojira to Pantera to AC/DC. Like it's really weird, and I want to
Yeah.
do it all.
Yeah.
But, and
there's nothing wrong with that, I don't think. But I think from a marketing standpoint, like, and just from a marketing like business standpoint, it's really hard. I remember the first time I heard a band do that in like, we're gonna do 57 different styles of music on one album, and that was a band called Fountains of Wayne. I don't know if you've ever heard them.
Yes.
But they had that one song, and I was like, this is really good. I like it. I want their album. I wonder what the rest of it sounds like. And I was so disappointed and angry because I actually paid actual money for the entire album, and it went from like super low country twang to like kind of pop punkish to like just random badness. Like it just was really, really bad. And I'm not saying that we're in any danger of doing that, but certainly I can see the appeal of having like a more honed sound.
yeah, and we were talking about it earlier. Nothing's more disappointing than finding a song you like and then going to the band's profile and it's nothing like anything else they do.
Right.
And you're like, man, I wanted more of that.
Yeah.
So I think there's a thing of finding that. That's what, I mean, people hate on it, but AC/DC, the famous quote is they came out and like they were kind of getting criticized. They said, you made 11 of the same albums. And I think it was Angus Young said, we made 12. Right? And they just don't change their sound, and then
No.
every single one's a smash hit.
Yeah, and from their standpoint, why would you change anything?
No
I'm
reason.
gonna if I'm Angus Young, I'm going to keep playing the same chords over and over and over.
E-A-D-G-B.
And flip everybody off, drinking well into my
E-A-D-G-B.
80s, and all the way to the bank.
Yep.
Don't care.
You only need those first 4 strings, really,
Really? Yeah.
for rhythm.
Yeah. I heard someone tell me one time that you don't make any money above the 5th fret. It's kind of
That's
true.
actually pretty accurate. Yeah.
So, Raina joined the band, joined Eviction,
Yes.
and then left at some point.
So I
Asshole.
joined. Listen, I know. I yeah. So
Cunt.
I found.
Hey, again,
cutting that.
light sexism. That you went a little heavy there, Justin.
Sorry. I'm beta testing it. It's fine.
Listen. No, I found them from Craigslist. Actually, I got a hold
is
of
that
your
how that
yeah.
happened?
I got a hold of Christian's dad on Craigslist, and I was like,
Oh,
and
wow.
the ad was like teenage band looking
Yeah.
for drummer, and I was like, dude, I drum. So I messaged them, and I went and I
I'm a
auditioned.
teen.
Yeah, I was like, what, 15 at
This
the
is
time?
made for me, dude.
So I got into their band, and I was looking everywhere and anywhere because I had just lost my previous band, and I had not played drums for like 2 years since then, and I just recently got back into playing drums. That was back when I was practicing for 6 hours plus a day.
Right.
And every single day, 7 days a week.
Right.
Because I was homeschooled, so I did stuff in like a weird timing. But
Yeah.
so I was really, really looking for a band. So Craigslist was my last option. I found Eviction, and they wanted me. so-
Eviction, the last
Nice.
option. Yeah.
Eviction and Craigslist.
Best decision
Super
I ever
creepy.
made.
Yeah. Now, honestly, now I don't want to play in a band without Raina. I give her a lot of crap because sometimes she counts to 3 instead of 4.
Right.
Oh my god! One more time.
But no, like you can ask her. I've drug her to other projects I've been working on so many times where they're like,
Right.
we want live drums on this. Like, I'm tired of programming my drums. I'm like, I got you, girl, and I'll bring her along. And always, you know, she's great on record. Like when we went in to record with Stan with Eviction, she was the quickest one to do it. Our guitar tracks took longer than drums,
Right, yeah.
which is unheard of.
Yeah.
Because usually drums, they have to be tight. They have to be right on that click for your track to have any cohesiveness. And
Yeah.
she pumped out, what was it, 4 tracks?
4 tracks in 3 hours, I think.
3 hours,
Oh, wow.
yeah. So, like,
Nice.
her being on a click like that saves us money, for one. And for 2, she's fun. But, you know. Perusing the personal ads.
I feel like most people do that with drummers. I've only worked with maybe 4 or 5 drummers. I've been playing for a long time, and my buddy Mark Williams, who I'm still friends with. I was in a band with him, probably like 3 or 4 bands with him for 7 years, somewhere
Yeah.
around there. My last drummer Brian was with Stain the Angel.
No, it is weird how that loyalty happens. Like whenever you find, especially with drummers, and I don't know what it is. I guess it's just the style, and you can find their rhythm easier.
Right.
I feel like switching guitarist kind of easier to do.
Yeah.
Unless the
We're a dime a
songwriting
dozen,
process-
really, if you think
yeah,
about it.
everyone plays guitar, but drummers are harder to find for one.
Good ones.
Good ones, yes. And for
I feel like how obvious a bad drummer is. I feel like how obvious the difference between a good drummer and a bad drummer is so apparent that you find a good drummer and you stick with them because you're like, I fucking gel with you so easy. Like, it's so easy to write with a good drummer and one that you can kind of click with.
yeah.
Because I've played with good drummers who I just can't write with.
Yeah.
You know? And so, like, if you find that one drummer that you like, I can write with you,
Yeah, they pick up
and you
what you're
don't
doing.
sound like ass.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm keeping you.
Well, speaking like talking about guitarists being dime a dozen, you can hide a bad guitarist way easier than
Yeah.
a bad drummer. You can easily
Oh, yeah.
hide a bad guitarist in the mix. I play guitar.
Right.
that exhibit A. Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna claim to be any kind of technical guitarist
Mm-hmm.
at all whatsoever. But I can play a few chords, so
Sure.
let's go. You
Right on.
know?
And so, Ariana, you've been in just the family band, and then this one, yeah?
Yeah, just the 2 bands.
Okay. What was the family band like?
So, oh God. So
Shit show.
yeah, it was an absolute shit show. So it was me, Raina, and Raina's two sisters, Janie and Cheyenne.
Okay.
My dad kind of took us on and kind of taught us how to be in a band and how to keep time, how to structure everything. He gave us a list of songs to learn. And he taught us, he was down there basically acting like a drill sergeant the entire time.
Right.
And he was teaching us how to alternate instruments a lot, so we weren't just kind of stuck on one thing. And that way we would kind of find something that we liked more than the rest. So I was on bass a lot. Raina was strictly on drums most of the time until she got up and sang Rob Zombie.
Which one?
Living Dead Girl.
Obviously.
Yeah.
It's a great song.
And then Janie and Cheyenne were both on guitar. Janie was typically rhythm, and Cheyenne was lead. We opened up for my dad a few times. That was like the most we ever did live, and it was always like a wreck because all of us were nervous as hell and didn't know what we were doing.
Do you still do that? You're still a nervous fucking wreck, like
Her stage
before
fright
every
is
show.
a problem because we had her singing a song for a while,
Yeah.
and like she can sing, but like you could tell in her voice she was nervous to actually step up to the mic. I would take the bass from her, I would
Right.
take away all of her worries and let her just sing, and she was still like, I had to
Right.
like pep talk her before every show and smack her around a little bit
Yeah.
to like get her on stage for
Yeah.
a while.
She's a fantastic singer too.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Shut your face. You are.
Yeah, the problem, you're trying to harmonize with me. That's the problem.
No,
That's
it's okay.
What did I say? Don't listen to Christian
Christian's
at
gonna
ever.
mess up.
Yeah,
He's an idiot.
The only
Oh wait. What? No.
Raina was never afraid to put herself out there with music, never. And I looked up to her a lot for it. I always have had crippling stage fright, which is why I've only been in 2 bands ever. So I joined Legion's Blind, and per Raina,
Well, see, that's the funny story about it. So when we were starting Legion's Blind, Ariana was first on the roster to join as the bassist. And then we were like, oh, but wait, we can't have like a nearly full Eviction band without Aaron.
Yeah.
So, and Ariana's stage fright kind of got in the
gotcha.
way at the beginning. And then when Aaron left, we were like, yo, dude, Ariana.
I got you.
Yeah, we needed a bassist.
yeah, so
But like, I've seen you come out of your shell like a lot more just in the short time that I've been in the band.
that's due to Christian. So I first
Give them pep
joined.
talks, dog.
The pep
Well,
talks
okay, they
mostly
gave
consist of quit being a pussy.
yeah.
Get on stage. Like, there's 8 people here. What do you
I mean, whatever works.
The first
whatever
show-
works.
They gave me a set list. They left out Judgment Day, which was the hardest song. And because I hadn't played in 6 years when they asked me. So I had a week to learn the set. I learned the set. And then the entire time on stage, I stood like to the side. Like I didn't even face the crowd because I was so scared. But every show, and you still do this to this day, and it's been a year, he jams with me on stage, and it kind of eases my anxiety. And
Right on.
like, and Raina gave me really good advice. She said, turn that anxiety into stage presence.
Right.
The crazier you look, the more people are going to feed into it. So like, don't be afraid.
That's fair.
So
It's good advice.
the stage fright is still bad, but it's not like it was where I can't like face the crowd like
Right.
in the beginning.
Well, I just want to put out there what really like cemented like, okay, because she hadn't played in a while, and we were doing a little bit more technical stuff than I think you were even kind of ready for. And I think even you knew that, so I don't think
I
I'm
did.
putting you down.
No,
for
no,
that. But you did. We gave you a week because we had a show, and we gave you a week to learn a full set minus one song. It's fast. It was like a thrash song, so it was a little harder,
Yeah.
to get through. She did. She learned the whole set.
With your tiny, dainty wrists, it's really
Yes.
hard for you to do the gallop.
Yeah, so that's where I was like, okay, we can sit here and like kind of grow past like the rustiness and the
Right.
almost like lack of technical ability, not fully, but like she was a little behind. And I was like, well, we can get over that because she did learn a full set in a week and stepped in and did get on stage and did play.
Right.
So even like with her turning away a little bit, I would kick her into gear a few times just because I was like, hey, move.
I've got this really bad habit. Sometimes I will turn away from the crowd because I have this really bad habit when I do something wrong that's like really, really wrong, that in my head I know the audience isn't going to know it.
No.
But I still make this face like I stepped in dog shit.
Yeah.
And I'm barefoot.
Yeah.
Or I'm wearing like those toe socks. And I could just feel it just squishing down.
Yeah, I know.
And so I don't want them to see that. So I turn around and I'm like, nope. Just be a cool guy.
Just be
Look
cool.
at my
I'm
back.
checking on my amp.
Right? Yeah.
No, that was honestly how I felt after that last show we played.
Mm-hmm.
Where, like, the people who came to see us, they told us, you sounded great. And, like, I couldn't accept it. And it's that same thing, is I know you didn't notice it, but I definitely knew what was wrong there.
I've gotten a lot better about that. Like, that's a thing that I for a long time, like, if I felt like it was just even not the best show, I would think it was a dog shit show, and it would affect my mood for the entire night.
Yeah.
And then, the next day or so, I'd kind of think about it and be like, I mean, maybe it wasn't that bad. And, like, over time, I've just gotten to where, no one's complaining about it. No one's saying, hey, you did so shitty.
Yeah. Except for my dad.
Well, I mean,
My dad told me, he's like, yeah, that was bad. I was like, oh, that hurt my heart.
what I have noticed, the difference, though, between you three and me is that, like, you had your dad that was constantly, like, helping you along and drilling you. And he's told me about, like, if you're going to do this, you're going to do this, like, like how you would train for baseball.
Yeah.
And you have a very musical family, and both of you guys actually have a very musical family. When I started playing, like, my mom showed me how to tune a guitar. She played in the church when she was a kid, but that was it. Like, she just gave it up. She didn't really want to do it anymore. And she had showed me a couple things, like, growing up here and there, but largely when I started playing, she was like, you have to buy an acoustic guitar and then you'll learn this way. And I was like, no, fuck you. I'm going to buy a bass and I'm going to play bass like Matt Freeman from fucking Rancid. And here we are. Like,
well,
and that's not to say like my family is not supportive at all. That's like to say like my family is like super supportive. They love everything I do. I just didn't have that
constant almost pressure
behind it. Yeah, like I didn't have them patting me on the ass and going, "Hey, get your fucking ass in gear." Like if I didn't want to practice, they were like, "Fuck you, don't practice."
Yeah. So
go mow the lawn.
What age were you whenever you started?
I bought my first guitar when I was 15.
15. Okay, see, I think that's a little where the difference comes from because I know they started super young too.
Right.
I started when I was 12.
Yeah.
Whenever like I got into playing guitar and we were at Sunburst Studios. Do you remember Sunburst Studios?
Yeah.
Shout out to Dan. I love Dan.
Yeah.
But we were over there and I was just taking guitar lessons over there and he saw me like singing karaoke, Dream On. Terribly. The video's still on Facebook somewhere. Right? And god awful, but I was selling
Google Christian Longman.
Singing Dream On. Seriously, someone reposted it the other day and I was watching it.
Terribly.
Oh my gosh, it hasn't changed much, but
Shut up. Oh my god.
No, but like that's how like that band got started and I wasn't sure about it cuz they was throwing me in to sing.
Yeah.
And I knew I couldn't sing that well.
Right.
And like my first tryout for a band, it started a fight because I went to school with Zach, the guitarist for Eviction. I went to school with him, and I tried out for the band, and he was in that band. And he went back to school, and he was just telling everybody I sucked. Like, was like talking mad trash. So we were. This is actually
I feel like that's such a Zach thing to do.
Yeah.
Like I've met the guy, and I don't think he has a mean bone in his body, but it's like, I'm gonna go tell everybody he sucks because it'd be funny.
Yeah, exactly. So like he was talking mad trash, and I didn't accept that. So we were at the skate station behind the Mandarin Library.
God, yeah.
That was the hangout in Mandarin
place.
Middle Friday nights.
Yeah.
We'd go down there. Our beers were Monster energy drinks, and so we were a bunch of 12-year-olds hopped up on Monster on roller skates. It was a disaster. So this is when he starts talking trash, right? And we had a mutual friend who happened to be a girl, and she came up to me, and she came up to me and she said like, "Oh, Zach's over there telling everybody how much you suck and like how much your singing is terrible and all that." So I just told her, I said, you go back over there and tell him how bad he sucks at guitar, right? And
Oh
tell
my
him that
God.
he's the worst guitarist I've ever heard play. He was pretty good. But like, I was like, you go back over there and give him the business and tell him if he wants some, he can come get some. So
Oh, boy.
he comes roller skating up to me, like he's bad to the bone, and I stand up on my roller skates and I'm starting to skate back at him. This is like the worst version of Rent ever. We're like snapping our fingers, going after each other. West Side Story. But like legitimately, like we started getting like chest to chest on each other, and I was about to throw a punch, and it was so funny. Thank you. The girl who like kind of like was delivering the messages just got in between us, and we were on roller skates, so she just pushed us apart, and we couldn't fight it whatsoever. And it was just like hysterical. But yeah, so when that happened, like that band broke up that I tried out for.
Right.
And
As they usually do.
Yes, and Dan was like, hey, I want you to come in. I'm starting a new one. And you
Right.
can be the singer. You don't have to try out. Like, I want you in on this. And I was kind of iffy about it. I was like, I don't know if this is what I want to do, you know, because I was playing baseball, football, and doing Brazilian
You had a lot going on,
jiu-jitsu.
yeah.
I had a lot going on. And I was like, even at 12, I was like, do I even want another place to be? You know, like, I'm so lazy. I was like, man, that's another obligation that I have to go take care of. And that's why Dad kind of pushed me. Because he's like, you love music. You just started learning how to play guitar. Like, do it if you're going to do it. So I think because I started so young and, like, completely inexperienced in it, I think that's why my dad kind of started kicking in. And my dad's awesome. He's going to support anything I do.
Yeah.
And he'll help me out any way he can. And that was his way of helping, is like, hey, you have to do it.
Yeah, our first show, I actually spent a lot of time talking to your dad. Like, and I've talked to him before, but, you know, 5 minutes here and there.
Yeah.
You know, we're at the same show. Oh, hey, how's it going? Yeah, your kid's a fucking asshole, whatever. Like,
Accurate.
yeah.
I get it from him, by the way.
Yeah, but like, I get that genuine feeling like from your dad. Like he wants you to succeed in whatever it is that you do, but he's also going to push you and make sure that you're doing everything within your power, and he's doing everything in his power to make sure that you're doing everything you can.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like if you're gonna fail, fuck it up and fail big.
Yeah.
You know, go hard or don't go at all.
Yeah, and luckily that was something he kind of raised me on, and I kind of, same mentality. I very smartly listened to him. Like, in my opinion, I listened to my dad pretty well.
Yeah.
But he was my baseball coach. He was my football coach, my flag football coach. He didn't coach tackle football or anything like that. But flag
Right.
football and baseball, he was my coach.
Yeah.
So he was always harder on me than the rest of the kids because he didn't want any questions of favoritism. You know
Right,
what I'm
yeah,
saying? Because
yeah.
especially when you're younger, that's mostly when he coached me, and then he ended up getting a job at my high school, weirdly enough. But my mentality is not really a musician's mentality, I feel like.
What do
if
you
that makes
define as
sense.
the musician's mentality, though?
It's hard to define, but you know him when you talk to him. It's like porn. I know it when I see it.
It's kind of like
I think
it's kind of like
everybody
my
knows
dad.
what porn is when they see it.
Yeah, everyone knows what porn is when they see it. Everyone knows a musician when they see it. I don't have, honestly, an artistic mindset, I don't think.
Yes,
weirdly.
you do.
I'm honestly a little bit more methodical.
I kind of see where you're coming from, and maybe this is just more of my experience. You know, I've done this longer. But when I talk to you about, like, this is why we want to put this here, this is why we should probably think about putting this here.
Yeah.
Like, you get it, and you guys as well. You understand it. You're like, okay, yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
You're not just talking out of your ass.
Yeah.
And, you know, not that I'm like any kind of, you know, fucking guru about how to write songs or anything, but, you know, I
We're
have
not
a
famous,
basic
so.
simple understanding of
Yeah.
like, you know, this is how you want to build it, this is how you want to break it
Yeah.
down, and you're starting to pick up a lot easier.
Yeah.
You know, and that could also be, you know, a methodical,
Yeah.
analytical mind,
Yeah.
but at the same time, you also have that artistic feeling to it.
Yeah, I try. I do my best. But like I'm saying is, like, whenever I write a song, I think of, like, okay, what makes a song good, you know?
Right.
And that's kind of how I do it more than going straight off of feel, I guess, of like, oh, this is where the song feels like it should go. I'm like, oh, I mean, I can feel it, you know, because I love music. Like, listening to music, you can feel where a song wants to go.
Right.
Especially, I've been writing songs since I was 12. So when we started that band, that's when I started writing. So I know a good bit about writing now, but I think that's more practice than feel. Which I guess all musicians are that way. Like, the more you practice, the better you get at it, the more you understand it and all that. It's just, I never, honestly, just like, excluding a few, I don't feel like musicians like me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm kind of a locker room mentality. That's how I grew up. Right. So I like the bus balls. I'm kind of, like, mean when I like you. Not mean, but I'll poke at you. I'll make fun of you. I'll do that. And a lot of musicians are sensitive, so
they can be.
I think you could ask people. I'm sure there are plenty of people who I've like jammed with, played with, whatever, who would say I'm hard to work with.
I never thought that.
Neither have
I've worked with you for what, 7 or 8
That's
years.
because I'm nice to you.
Once.
No, see, Christian's always been, like, we were talking about it earlier. Christian's, like, super patient. Like, especially very, very patient. Raina has, you know, Christian said it. She has the memory of a goldfish.
Dead goldfish.
3 or 4.
3 or 4. Yeah. Christian's very patient with me, with my inexperience. Like, I think my parents knew that I was going to be a musician before I knew I was going to be a musician, because I kept wanting to, you know, fuck with my dad's stuff. Like, my mom comes from she was a gospel singer in a church choir, and she played percussion in high school. She was on the big bass drum.
Means? Gospel album.
Yeah, with my mom, yeah.
With metal gospel, so it's all gospel until the breakdown.
Oh my god. Yeah, my mom has like a really big like Aretha Franklin vibe to her.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh god, I love that.
Yeah, she's amazing. And you know, my dad, he played guitar, he played drums, but I've told you this story before and you almost kicked me out of the band. But what got me started in music is my dad had an electric.
I can't believe you're still here.
He had an electric drum set in the living room, and he did a lot of cover music, and he never really disagreed with anything that came into, you know, like ideas of songs to learn, because he just didn't give a shit. But it was Animals by Nickelback. I watched him play that on like with a single bass pedal, just killing it the whole song, and I sat there for hours and watched him play that song, and I was like, yep, this is it. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Honestly, Animals by Nickelback is a good song.
I really love that song.
By Nickelback is an awful song.
The drums are insane.
Okay. Yeah, tired
I'm gonna
take
be
there,
that
Justin.
guy. I'm gonna
tired
be that
take
guy.
there, Justin. They made a
gonna be
lot
that
of
guy.
money. They
Yeah,
didn't
they
suck
have.
that
No,
bad.
listen, Chad Kroger's just sitting there looking in the mirror like, people think I'm an asshole. I don't fucking care.
I don't care.
And that's fine. That is
They're all
totally
just
fine.
wanna
I
be
don't like them.
Big rock stars.
No,
living
I
in
don't.
hilltop
I don't
houses, driving 15 cars.
And that's a great way to end the podcast. Thank you all for listening. This has been episode 1. We'll see you guys next time.
And this is the end of the band.